4, 3, 2, 1. We are live. We are live all over the world. We're live everywhere, in your house, on your phone. My name is Jason J. Daniel. Thanks for joining me. This is your post-game show. I like to do one for the Fever. And guess what? The Fever worked the Chicago Sky like a puppet. Yes, Chicago dumpster fire. That's what I'm calling this episode. The Sky are really bad. They're just really bad. This feels like a broken record. We did this last time, game one. We did this in game one, except it was, I believe, a home game, and the Fever sent a message to the Sky, which is, you never want to play us. They sent that message again. So I'm pretty happy to report that to you guys. It's a great, great win for the Fever. Pretty crazy. In fact, I guess I should just shout and celebrate. I didn't get a chance to shout, so let me take a moment and just shout, woo! Yes. Okay, there you go. You feel better? I feel better. Again, my name is Jason J. Daniel. Thanks for watching the Jason J. Daniel Show. I like to do a Fever post-game show after every game. That's my commitment. I've been pretty much on top of it. Thanks for watching, guys. My numbers are really strong, so I appreciate that. Yeah, so while you're joining me is this right here. The Fever work the Sky like a puppet, just like a master manipulator, just like a marionette, just like a puppet show. That's what I felt like I was watching. I felt like the game plan was really masterful. I loved it. In fact, the Sky, they were out of this game by the second quarter. Done. They were out. They were down by 10 in the first quarter. I think 13 going to the second. We'll look at our notes. And then when they got to the third, there was just nothing. There was no competition, no chance to come back. There was just a little bit of drama here and there. It was a really interesting game for Fever fans to see where the Fever are at, if they're really breaking that curse, which, good news, they are. It's over. We're out of this jam. So things are only going to go up from here. They look very strong, so that was great. That was something that fans wanted to see. Is this team going to actually build on what they did in the last game? The answer is yes. The other thing that was interesting is, will Angel Reese melt down and create a drama? Let's be honest. And she didn't. Now, she melted down, but she couldn't create a drama because we're over that shit. We really are. Everybody knows that she's a fraud. She's a charade. And look, I'm not being mean. I'm not piling on. I'm just being honest. She's not a professional. She's not. Maybe a bench. Maybe. I don't know. It's wild. I'll give you a stat that's going to blow your mind. It's going to show you a little later on. We'll get to that. But I'm going to give you a stat about her rebounding. It's going to show you it's a mirage. It's fake. It's a fugazi. It's nothing. It's worthless. She is just a mascot. Today's game proved it for me. So I'm going to take a second here, guys. I am my own producer, so you know me. I have to, let's check out my, we got to check out the broadcast here and make sure we are good to go. It's been a little buggy on X, got to tell you. I have to, let's check out my, here we go. Yeah, X has been a little buggy. I don't know if you guys have noticed it. It crashed. Well, I mean, you know, Elon's a little buggy, but Elon's melting down. But X has been crashing, so that's been extremely interesting. And while we're on that note, we're also live on Facebook. Let me take a moment to just, if you're watching, a moment to say, this is the Jason J. Daniel Show. Thank you so much for watching. And I'm my own producer, so we're on Facebook tonight, and we're on Twitch tonight. And we are, let's see here, edit my post. We're on Twitch, we're on Facebook, we're on Rumble, we're on YouTube, and I'm trying to manage this post here. Having a little bit of trouble here to get. Okay, we'll work on that later on. All the apps are a little buggy. It's really weird right now. Maybe there's some kind of thing going on. There's the world's a weird place. A lot of weird stuff going on. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to go I'm trying to edit this post so I can go public with it for you guys. It's not letting me do it. Okay, we'll worry about that later. Man, sorry about that. So there's a lot to talk about because this game for me was really just a way to take a look at where the Fever are at, like take a pulse for the Fever, how healthy everyone is, how they're looking offensively, defensively, how individual players are looking. For me, this was practice. After most of the first quarter, I was like kind of checked out. I mean, obviously I took notes, 7 pages again. I can't help myself because I just like watching and I like to, that's me. So I mean, I was taking notes on what was going on and on the action. You never know. After halftime, the Fever could always lose a big lead, but I think we're over that. I think we're over that. I think they're able to stop the bleeding when it comes to giving up bigger leads. Free throws are a little issue, but hey, it's okay. They shot 77% overall. Free throw, almost 80, almost 78%. Not good enough, but it was good enough against this team. This guy's really bad. So we know that there's no surprise. They could end up being the worst team. Connecticut's really bad too. The Fever, they were really bad, but now they're riding the ship. They're clearly going to get out of that territory of being one of the worst teams. Without Caitlin Clark, you can be, right? But they added McDonald, which was huge. We'll talk about McDonald. The McDonald situation it's only getting more interesting because we're a couple of days away from seeing that come to fruition or end. It's been a really crazy week. It really has been. McDonald's made such an impact in a week. It's almost like McDonald's been on the team for weeks, but only 1 week. Really crazy. So let's get into your headlines. Obviously, the Fever do work the sky like a puppet. 79-52, a 29-point win, 27-point win. I wrote it down here. 27-point win. I know I should just be able to do the math in my head, but I don't. 27-point win. Huge beatdown. The largest lead was 30. That was earlier in the game. It went. I think the least the Sky cut it to was maybe 10 or 11 early, and it just once it got to 20, that was it. They couldn't get that down. So the other headline is this was a solid team win. No one really stood out to me as a rock star. Now, Kelsey Mitchell scored 17, was featured. She was featured. She had a really, really good night. She did. Really loving that. Except at the 3-point line, she struggled 1 for 6, but that's cool. That was cool. In fact, her 3-point shots, I really thought were really judicious. I'm liking Kelsey Mitch chill. I'm liking the chill. She's chilling out. It wasn't Cowboy Kelsey. Now, she took that bell ringer right at the end of the third. I think it was the end of the third. And going into the fourth, yeah, it was, because when they went to commercial and I'm like, look, we're in the fourth quarter. You better sit everybody. That is of consequence. Now, it's a small team, so everybody's of consequence. But I'm just like, sit everybody that's a starter. At least do that for me. You got Lexi sat, and then you come back and Kelsey's got the warm-up. She sat. So if she had played in the fourth quarter, it would have been Cowboy Kelsey. I'm cool with that. It could have been a 40-point blowout, honestly. Like, this was crazy. They were missing shots in the beginning and still blowing this team out, the Fever. Then the Fever were turning it over like, hey, they were just playing loosey-goosey. A lot of mistakes. Some questionable calls. Some of the traveling was questionable, whatever. But both teams had a lot of turnovers. It's just the way it is in the WNBA. It really honestly is. That's what I'm noticing, at least this year. It's early, but we can make that determination. And then from there, you've got, I just thought it's going to be a scrimmage. So when they got into the third quarter, I'm like, sit people. Then when the bell ringer happened, I'm like, you need to sit Kelsey Mitch chill, sit her down. The announcers talked about her having an issue with her nose. She looked fine. I'm sure she'll be fine unless there's something that we're missing. Hopefully not. But hey, that's just the way it works. But I loved how physical she is. She's getting in there. The ladies were just getting in there. The last 2 games have been a drastic turnaround from hands off, everybody's on the perimeter looking for the pass, to let's just fight like dogs. Let's just get in there and just get this going. Let's win. Let's win, baby. And I love that. So I didn't see anyone really stand out, but I went through the stat line. Everybody scored. Everybody scored except for, let's see here. Everybody scored but Thompson, who came in for 3 minutes. Timpson, sorry. Turner got 2 points. Ari had 12. Sophie and Caitlin obviously on the bench. So it's crazy. It's like it's like this team came in and they're like, we're gonna beat you with 1 Caitlin behind her back. We're gonna beat you with 1 Sophie behind her back, and now let's just make it interesting. One Stephanie behind our back. Like they were down by three key members of this team and still beat the hell out of this guy. Like whoop ass, like punished them, embarrassed them. Embarrassed them. I do want to talk about the Sky because they're fun to talk about. They're interesting. So we'll talk about what I noticed from that team, which is a total meltdown machine. Watching the Sky play against the Fever, it's like the second time we've done this. We'll see more later on. For me, it was like watching Final Destination because, everyone's going to die at the end, but you're just not sure when. It was like, this game is over. It was just wild. Final Destination in the sense of injuries could happen at any time, and the fact that this Sky team, their season's over. Look, I stand behind my prediction. They will be trading Angel Devil. They're going to trade her. Devil Reese. Sorry, it's my little cocktail here. Yeah, they're going to trade her because she's just a mess and she's a joke and she's a mascot. So when the draft comes next year and they're going to draft somebody really good, like Van Lith is a great pickup. She's just edgy and hungry, and I like that. She's a good pickup. They're going to draft and maybe make some moves. They're going to get a new coach. This guy, I guess I'm jumping ahead, but either this coach is going to figure out that how to get through this Angel. I mean, you can see the look on his face when they interviewed him. He's like shell-shocked. He's like, I can't believe that I've got Angel Reese destroying this team. Like she's melting the chemistry down. I've never seen a situation where they leave someone in to start who can't play basketball. Like it's wild. Now I understand what you're saying. You get out there, Jason, whatever, dude. Just get past that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's ridiculous. What I'm saying is she has, at that level, she's got no fundamentals. She has no footwork. She stands outside of the key at the wrong place, starts to post up in the wrong spot. There was one moment where she started posting up in the wrong spot, and the coach was like, timeout, motherfucker. Sit down, dude. He called a timeout because he was like, what is that? Like I could tell he was like, what are we doing here? So I feel bad for that guy. He looks completely shell-shocked. He looks like there's no way we're winning a game this year that's of consequence. They're not going to be over 500. Teams know she's the weak link. For example, Howard just took her out the entire game. It was actually impressive to see Howard just impose her will on Angel Reese, push her, just get her out of the block. And the rebounds she got, most of them they let her have because that's the key for her. You let her get the board, and then your team can move and set up because she's slow. And she'll go for a board way out here and then look to bring it up and start barking at everything. It's just like I've never seen somebody so uncoachable like that. That should never, like there was a moment she walked up and was at the top of the key like a guard yelling at everybody. I was like, this is wild. If Caitlin had been on the floor, it would have been a different story. She would have attacked it. Like she would have made it hard. So Caitlin does make a difference not being out there, but I was really surprised that a coach would let somebody do that. Like she's out of position. I'm like, here's how it goes. If you have somebody barking orders and they're not a guard that runs plays and they're a forward and they're way outside acting like a guard, your team is fucked. Like there's just no way around it. Like you can't have somebody doing that. There's no design play for her to distribute the ball. She can't even pass it. I could go on forever, but I'll stop. So it's like watching Final Destination. So again, a solid team win. Everybody pitched in. That's what you need to win without Caitlin Clark because GOAT Prime is not there. So you have to distribute that ball, get everybody comfortable, get everybody loose, and have everybody move, pass that ball. I loved it. I saw extra, we did see some extra passes. That was too many, right? But I'd rather see the extra pass. I really would. It's okay. That's a mistake we can make. I can live with that. Still, again, 77.8 points at the free throw line percentage. I'm sorry. Not good. But you look, I know. 27-point beat down and Jason still complaining about free throw percentage. I know, but guys, you gotta really give me some, what's the word? Give me some, I'm having trouble with Facebook. Sorry. I'm going to have to work that out. But Facebook's weird. It deletes my shows after a little while after they're live. It's weird. I'm so sorry, guys, on Facebook when you watch this later. I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, look, I'm thinking about the future when I'm talking about free throw percentage. Boston is bad at the free throw line right now, and so is Kelsey Mitchell, which is really disappointing. There was a moment, I think it was Kelsey Mitchell, who, yeah, it was like 0.3 on the clock at the end of one of the quarters. It might have been quarter one, or yeah, no, second quarter maybe. And it was essentially it was 2 free throws for free, like no time on the clock. And it was 1-1. They missed one. I'm like, come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on now. Come on. Get the freebies. So still some line issues. The other headline, maybe the last headline I have is, oh no, one more. You did what you needed to do as a team. You did what you need to do to a team like that when you need to prove that you're the team that's bouncing back. That was so impressive to me. So as a fan, I'm happy. I'm excited. You should celebrate this. It is a really, really, sorry, my mic is effing with me. This is a really, really good moment for this team. I'll tell you why. Everything that went wrong for them has now gone right for them. Like, oh, the curse has been broken over 2 games. They were cursed for a little bit of a stretch there, and that happens in baseball, football, basketball. Curses are real. It just happens. You get cursed, all these things go wrong. But then things started to change when they picked up McDonald. Huge, huge momentum change. She is such a momentum change agent. She brings momentum. She's just a really impressive personality, obviously gelled really well, and really worked hard for this team. And I will say, I think this week of her coming in and helping them, without her, they lose these games. They just do. With her coming in and helping settle the team down, and that point guard, it was almost like the point guard was taken out. Like they just didn't, without Caitlin, she's so dominant with point guard activities. And I'm gonna come to grips with that. I really want Caitlin to do more 2 guard, but it is what it is. They use her as a 1. She's great as a 1 and a 2. I'll work with it. My point is that Caitlin was doing so much, we didn't realize it until she was out. But now we understand, because McDonald and Colson, an awesome 1-2 punch. Not to take anything away from Colson. I mean, Colson is just really, really solid. Not shaky, didn't turn the ball over, didn't have too many extra passes, very precise, really, really in the game. And even had a nice, easy, low, almost a logo 3. She got a chance to knock down at the very end, like towards the 4th, like just picking her shots, thinking to distribute first, had some really beautiful passing. Not, the announcers didn't give her credit for it, but I was like, this is some beautiful passing. So I love me some Colson. I love me the combo. I take the 21 and 2. I'll take that for 2 quarters, please. Thank you. I'll take the extra value combo, large size that. They're my combo I love. So there you go. And you're 4-4 again. Congrats. Or not, I guess not again, but you're 4-4. Congrats. You're back to 500. That's really important. Really important for this team to be at 500. That is well, one, last year they ended at 20-20. They were 500. So their baseline is 500. Yes, it's a brand new team, but this is just the way it works. Your baseline is 500. Anytime you drop under it, you're underachieving and you're in jeopardy of just squandering any kind of good momentum, right? So you got to stay over 500. That's important. Just win, baby, right? So it's wild. What a stretch. Like it was a wild, like 2 weeks without Caitlin Clark. It really was crazy. It was emotional for everybody. But we're back. So there's your headlines, guys. Let's talk about let's talk about some important things we need to talk about. Let's get into that have to do with the Fever. Then we'll do a quick breakdown of the game. Here's the most important two very important pivotal questions for the success of this team. One, when will Goat Prime be back? When will Caitlin Clark be back? She left the door open that she might not be back for another game. If you watched the press conference she did a few days ago, was it Friday? Yeah, maybe it was yesterday. She left the door open saying that maybe it was Thursday. Either way, She said that it's a possibility she will not come back for the next game on Tuesday. I'm looking at my calendar. When I look up, I'm looking at my calendar. So that is interesting to me. I think if they had lost to the Sky, that might have been something they would have said, okay, well, that's bad, right? And I don't think anyone thought that was going to happen because the Sky they don't have the juice, man. But let's say they had lost to the Sky, then that would have been. I haven't gotten I'm going to get my panic button. I haven't gotten it yet. I am ordering it, so that would have been panic basketball time. But we're cool. So she did say in the press conference she's going to be evaluated this weekend. She's evaluated every day. She does. She has a huge routine. We've talked about it on the show in the past. Caitlin Clark is $1 billion brand, so they're not just going to let her do it on her own or work it out. So they're very on top of monitoring her health. She said she's day by day, and that's interesting to me. So day by day means that there's a possibility we could not see her on Tuesday. I'm okay with that. Right now, I think we're in good shape. Like I play, we're the next game is. Let me look at the schedule. Let's see here. The FIVA. The next game for the FIVA is the Dream. That's what I thought, but I want to make sure. So the Dreamers are going to be there. So the Fever will be at the Dreamers. That is a 4:30 game Pacific, 7:30 for all of you East Coasters. That's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to have Frankengrinder, who's quite the entertaining player. Still got it. They've been kind of mediocre since they faced the Fever, so they are in a place where they could lose. Boston would have to come up big, but after this game, I think Boston is shaking it off a little bit. She's been a little tight, but she's put it together. Had a nice game, but against the Sky, that's feasting. There's no paint. There's no guarding of the paint against the Sky. You can feast. Even Howard was doing post up moves on Angel Reese. It was awesome. So I think you'll need to see a lot of Boston. Look, I think Caitlin comes back, you start winning games. So how I look at it is I'll have to think about it. I at home, it's tricky. It's going to be another tight one. I do predict that there's enough momentum in this, putting it together in this win. If you go another game without Caitlin and Sophie, I think it's an overtime game. I do. I think you actually get to overtime, and I think the Fever will pull it out in overtime. I think it'll be that tight. It's really a toss up. Sophie Cunningham comes back without Caitlin, you win that game. Sophie and Caitlin come back, easy win. That's how strong I think this team is now after they've shaken off this curse. So there you go. Up in the air on Caitlin Maximus coming back. So here's the other thing we have to talk about. It's going to be important to talk about this. This is something that you are worried about, and I'm not so much worried about it, but it is a concern. A lot of people need to be talked off the ledge with this one. The McDonald dilemma. So Ari McDonald is on a hardship contract. What that means is, and we'll pull up an article here and I can read it to you because it is confusing. So I thought, let me research this. Let's talk about it. I'll pull up the article and show you exactly what you're dealing with. So essentially, on a hardship contract, the WNBA, they have really tight rosters just because simply they don't have a huge budget, right? They don't have a lot of money. So these contracts are really inexpensive. Ari McDonald is making $51,000 for that's her value, right? So if she was on a season contract, $51,000. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. So in order to keep her, the Fever have to have cap space, and they have to have her to put her on a guaranteed contract. They have to have room for that. Right now, they're over their guaranteed contracts. Or I'm sorry, they're over their contracts. They're over their guaranteed contracts, so they'd have to drop somebody that's non-guaranteed and add her. If that makes sense. Or they're on the line. So, and I'm just going with what I've read, so I'm not talking to the Fever front office, so don't hold it against me if I get something wrong. But it is a dilemma. So we'll approach it from two areas. One, do you need her when Caitlin Clark comes back? The answer is no. I know that you guys are in love with this possibility of having Colson, McDonald, and Caitlin Clark, but they're not. They're not. That's a problemo because when Caitlin Clark walks in, she demands the ball. We're talking, she's like 40 minutes. Like she plays most, right? And there's going to be times where you'll bring in a guard and for the one and move her to the two, but then you've got Kelsey Mitchell who's a two. So you've got an abundance of guards. So you don't need McDonald and you don't need Colson. Now you can't cut Colson because Colson is playing well and came in and is essentially your number two on the depth chart. Now in the WNBA, you have 1 and 2 on the depth, and then you have flexes. There's never 3 on the depth chart. They just don't have that many people on roster. But now they do. So they have 3 people on the depth chart. Thanks for watching live, by the way, on Rumble. Thank you guys on the Rumble machine. If you guys are watching, do me a favor and please sub to Jason J. Daniels Show. Thank you. Just that little follow, bam. Just do me a solid, baby. Hit that little follow. Appreciate it. So back to the McDonald dilemma. So you don't need 3 people. You don't need 3 guards. You can't afford it. It's the salary cap is not there for it. And so, think of it that way. You're like, okay, I love McDonald. Look, I'm really, in love with this concept of McDonald and Colson coming in and giving us the value. But you've got Caitlin Clark, who's better than both of them combined. Let's be real. So Caitlin ultimately will have the decision on that because she's going to pick her backup. Caitlin picks everybody. Look, she's Go Prime. She's the $1 billion brand. The Chicago, the United Center, the Chicago Arena, they moved that game today and made it a nationwide game because they thought it'd be Caitlin Clark playing. The first time that's ever happened for the WNBA. They completely downplayed how historic that is. They mentioned it, but they downplayed it. They didn't say, and I'm so disappointed, but I shouldn't be because that's who they are. They're douchebags. They shouldn't have said Caitlin Clark did this because everybody's watching for Caitlin Clark. And the only reason we're watching the feed without Caitlin Clark is because we're loyal to Caitlin Clark. Let's be honest. We're loyal to this brand. So, this is a team of really great people, really great stars, right? So we're connected now as fans. But it wasn't an entertaining game to watch. It wasn't. The Sky are just bad. It's not a primetime game. When they showed the Michael Jordan, I'm getting off of McDonald, by the way, but I'll get back to it. When they showed the Michael Jordan statue in the middle of the United Center entryway there and all, I was just like, how pathetic. You've got Angel Reese as the star? Oh, my God. It was just it made me sick to my stomach to think about the greatness of Chicago. And honestly, the Bears, the Bulls, they're hockey, just so many great baseball. Chicago's got so many great professional sports franchises, and then you got the WNBA, which doesn't have she's a legit star. Oh my, she's not. She's the mascot. It's so sad, and I just thought, what an abomination to have her as your. It's just sad. Look, I'm a big sports traditionalist. It's just sad to me that she is on this team. It's such a historic, and they've been around 20 years. WNBA has been around for a long time, guys. It's one of the original franchises that survived. So there's something to it. It's a big city. They've been able to pay for them to survive. But anyway, okay. Sorry, I got way off track. But McDonald, so really quick. So let me just share my screen, and I'm going to read something to you that I think will be interesting on Ari McDonald. Let's see here. Got to set this up here. Boom. Okay. All right, cool. So let's read this to you here. This is what they're looking at. McDonald is currently on the Fever roster. Let me take this off here. McDonald is currently on the Fever roster through the aforementioned emergency hardship contract. Granted to teams who have fewer than 10 available players, the Fever have an 11-player roster, one below 12. But the injuries to Clark and Cunningham made it possible to sign McDonald. However, once Clark or Cunningham return, either one of them, McDonald's time with the Fever comes to an end, at least under her current contract, further adding to the complexity of the matter, thus the dilemma. The Fever, who sit just over 40 G's below the salary cap, I think it's 43 actually when I was researching more, meaning they only have 43,000 left before they hit the cap. They may have the below the salary cap, may have the roster spot to sign McDonald. They may have an opening, but they don't have the cap space because under the agreement, they can't like give her a deal and go, hey, can we sign you for 42? You can't. They have to sign her for what her worth is, which is 51. She can't take less than that because the collective bargaining with it's a thing for every league player for fairness. And also for fairness, as far as let's say you wanted to bring in a rock star and sign her for like $2, right? just to win the championship. You can't do that. You have to. That's not fair, right, to the teams. So you have to. It's got to be the same value that they would get. So they don't have the cap space until July when the minimum contracts prorate to below that mark. So the possibility the only possible way they could keep her if they wanted to is they have to essentially lay her off for the rest of the month, and then she comes back and then signs the deal for the max, which is 51 grand, and they could afford it then. But they still have to have the roster spot. So here's the next step. So sure, you could solve that, but here's the next step that you have to solve. They do have non-guaranteed contracts in the roster, meaning they waive someone because it's not guaranteed, meaning they can waive you anytime, and then they could sign McDonald. That would open up a spot if they so choose to do that. But for now, those are all decisions for the future. But it's according to this article, but it's a bit of a complex juggling act for the Fever front office. Now, the only, I believe, non-guaranteed contract is Turner. After researching it further, is Turner and Brianna Turner. And as far as I'm concerned, she's waivable. But here's the problemo: you'd still have too many guards, in my opinion, and you need more you need more forwards. That's really where your weakness is. It's not guard play. Let's say everybody's not injured. If you want to look at where the weaknesses of this team are, well, one, it's defense without Caitlin, so you can improve that. Free throw shooting, and where your guards are going to get more free throws. Your forwards are going to get more free throws just because if they're working hard in the paint. You have two veteran forwards, and Turner's rarely getting on the floor, but you lose Howard, that changes everything. So it just really depends on what's important for the Fever. I'll say this, McDonald would probably get less opportunities to play rather than Turner, just because Caitlin Maximus is just Caitlin. Like there's no, she's not sitting on the bench because she struggles, right? Unless she's hurt. And we now know that she was injured, or at least getting injured, or at least feeling injured before her recent struggles. So it's tricky. I don't know if there's a right answer. I think it just depends on what the Fever want to do, and you can play it out. But look, the Fever, they put together a really good roster. It's working out. Okay. It's working out. You've got great veterans. It's working out. You've got great potential. It's working out. You brought in McDonald on an emergency. That's definitely working out. That was amazing. So I trust the front office. So yes, the McDonald dilemma is super important, but you can't really worry about it now until one of them comes back, and we'll see. So that news could be sudden. So what we'll hear is probably by Monday, we'll hear somebody got waived or McDonald was released from the contract. And then if she's released, the problemo is she can't sit at home and wait on the Fever. That's not legal, right? So if someone offers her an offer, she's going to have to reasonably take it, right? Why wouldn't she? There's no guarantees in pro sports. There's no loyalty. So I do think there is a strong possibility that the Fever might face her later on, which would be weird, but that's just the drama in the W. Please sub and follow. Thank you. Follow this graphic. My name is Jason J. Daniel. If you're just watching this, I do a post-game show for the Fever. I'm about to do a quick little breakdown. I'm going to try to rush through it. Got a lot going on tonight, but I also love talking about this team. And so If you follow me, I really appreciate it. If you sub on my YouTube channel, there is, and on Rumble, you can go through and watch all of the other Fever game art in my archive. I've covered every one of them. Thank you very much. Commercial over. So my before game thoughts, before we do our breakdown, my before game thoughts were, let's see here. Feel Mitchell looks much more controlled. Is she feeling it? How will that work out for us tonight? Right. That was one of my post game thoughts. I thought, okay, and that worked out really good. It worked out really good. There's a typo there. Sorry about that, guys. One of my other thoughts on this one is it is important. Let me fix that. There you go. It's important to win this game. Lost it. It's important to win this game because they're putting you at 500. They did it. Mission accomplished. Pretty happy about that. One of my other thoughts was no Caitlin, no Stephanie. You got a Caitlin behind your back. I'll beat you with a Stephanie behind my back. And no Sophie was no problem. And I thought it should be no problem. It was no problem. And then I thought Kelsey Mitchell is clearly going to kill this Sky team, not the Fever. That you could misread that. Sorry. Kelsey Mitchell is clearly going to beat this team down. And if she hadn't got the bell ringer, she might have broke 20 points, 25 points. I thought she was going to score 30 tonight. She did great, though. The rest of the team really picked it up. So that was really important. So here we go. Yeah, let's get into the breakdown really quick. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me check our audio again. Really important for me to do that on the old X machine. It's the best way for me to check my audio. Cool. Okay, cool. Go. Yeah, let's get into the. Here we go. Audio working. Okay, cool. This team did what they were supposed to do. I really loved it. Mitchell looked much more controlled. She looked really, really controlled. She was feeling it. And I like that because I saw that in the end of the last game and saw it in this game. She's just really making good decisions and not pressing. And I love that. She was getting to the hoop, getting to the rack under the hoop, getting it up there, getting some foul calls. Love that. And then the other thing that was really cool to see is Boston rocks, man. Boston was shaking it off. She's been a little tight, missing free throws, but she got in a rhythm, and it was looking really good. They kept her in the fourth, which was questionable, but I liked it because it was a chance for her to stay warm. Good coaching. Good assistant coaching. I loved it. I really love what I saw. So let's see here. So the Fever came out and played really strong. There was a little busted play, but a nice recovery. I liked that in the beginning. They were hitting their shots. Colson hit a nice smooth three, which was cool. I was like, this is looking good, man. The Sky play a no pressure defense, which is essentially zero defense. They're bad. Mitchell was a little shaky early, but she was a little messy, but I was cool with that. There was a moment, it was like 6-7. Everybody was playing like garbage. I kind of noticed that in the WNBA. Like everyone plays great for stretches, and then both teams play really terrible. It's just the thing. I'm trying to get used to that. It's just the thing. Then the Sky had a backcourt. Like it's 6:30, 6 minutes and 30 left. They had a backcourt. I was like, what the heck? So the Sky just not making good mental decisions. It's a lot to do with Angel Reese. It really is. And then watching Angel Reese melt down, she was melting down early. You could tell Boston's just pushing her. She just can't. She can't really deal with anybody that's good. She just can't, Angel Reese. Cardozo started missing free throws, which was interesting to me. I think Cardozo, if without Angel Reese, my opinion is Cardozo would be an all-star, but she's just not able to with Angel Reese. It's just impossible. Because honestly, I think I think if she starts doing well, Angel's going to really start to sabotage her. So she plays mediocre. Why hurt herself, right? That's how it seems to me. Because Cardozo is like miles better. She's so better than Angel Reese. And then Vandersloot got hurt. Vandersloot, I always think of that guy that the Natalie Holloway. That's an older thing. It's old, guys. There's the guy. There's a serial killer named Vandersloot. Sorry, I always think of Johan Vandersloot. I don't know. I'm sorry. Whenever I hear Vandersloot, I can't get over it. I just think that poor Vandersloot's got the same last name as a serial killer. It's hard for me to get past that. So it was 9-6 at the end of the second. I'm sorry, towards the end of the first quarter. Not a lot going on here. A lot of mistakes here, and then there was. So then it just was interesting. So the refs were interesting to me a little bit. And then the one thing I thought that is once they put McDonald in, always delivers, man. Always delivers right on time. They put McDonald in to mix it up. Just the pace just changed. And it comes in and just hits a three. And then then it leads to a 2-point play. There was no pressure. Sky comes back, misses a layup, and then boom, another 2-point play for the FIVA. And at this point, I'm like, it's over, man. It's over. And then Ari gets the ball again, back-to-back three. It was crazy. So in that stretch, her coming in, that was it. It was a dynamic moment for this team because they never really looked back from that point. It was wild. So then Kelsey Mitchell goes into kill mode, man. Goes right into kill mode, and it was pretty cool. And then just drives, has a nice little dish to the bucket, gets a 3-point play. And then they're up by 10, just like that. And I felt like the route's on. And this is in the end of the first quarter. The Chicago just could not keep any offense together. They're just really bad. They're falling apart early. They were falling apart in the first quarter. And then I'm looking at Angel Reese, and I'm like, if I'm the coach, I'm like, I'm either going to quit this job or I'm going to sit her down and make a point in the first quarter because it's just you're not getting anything done with her. And I get it. They're like, okay, well, we have they had a better team last year, but they have a bad team this year. She makes it worse. What are you going to do? I guess I understand the struggle. You sit her down, then you put in guards that don't know the offense because they're not getting a lot of minutes and they're going to start losing. It's tricky. What are you going to do? But that's not our problem. That's theirs. The longer they keep her, they just own that problem. Kelsey Mitchell starts to get in the zone, man. And then 2:23 left. They're up by 10. I noticed Lexi Hull's having a tough offensive game, but she's still in it in the first quarter defensively, which is just really you just can't underappreciate how much she does for this team, how much Lexi does for this team. And then Boston was struggling a little bit. Not really happy with that, but Lexi was all over the glass. And then at this point, there was a little bit of effort by this guy, but not so much at the very end. With a minute left, Boston has a weird travel, which was odd. She's more in her head. There was a lot of turnovers in the first quarter, too much for my taste, but that's another thing that a lot of the teams do in bunches. They both just keep turning it over. And then there's a last minute steal by McDonald. That's crazy, man. And then Kelsey comes back for a sweet layup with 0.3 left on the clock, essentially gets 2 free throws, can only hit one, which is aggravating to me. I mean, come on. So they had moments to put this game away in the second and the first. They finally put it away in the third, but essentially it was put away at this point. They have an 8-point lead at the end of the second quarter. They come in and start playing wacky, but I can work with it. They have like a dumb three, but I can work with it. Angel Reese, she took a break. They put her back in, and she's just struggling. Angel Reese comes out, and let's talk about Angel Reese. She starts acting like a spoiled brat. I'm noticing that she's yelling, she's screaming. This is where she gets the ball. In the second quarter, goes to the top of the key, starts yelling at people. I talked about that earlier. She doesn't understand basketball, doesn't understand plays. Look, you can play I know what you're thinking. She would want a championship in college. Well, you can play basketball and not understand it. You can. There are hundreds of dudes who played in the NBA who didn't understand plays or didn't read the book. They just played on instinct. It happens in the NFL too. One of the greatest examples is Michael Vick, a tremendous talent, Unbelievable. He was ridiculous. I mean, he was incredible, but he never read a playbook. And they never required it from him in college because he was just so good. And then when he gets to the pros, they're like, "Can you read the playbook?" He's like, "I don't need to read the playbook." He was right. He was dominant. He was so good. He was a natural talent. But then you start getting figured out and they start shutting you down. And then when it's time to read the playbook, you don't have that skill set to double down and really put your head into it and figure out the game. And that's Angel Reese's problem, except she never really understood the game and she's not talented. So that's the thing. Trust me, dudes, it happens. You think everybody knows basketball or everybody knows football. They don't. Only a select few have that IQ. And when people say they have a good IQ for this game, you wouldn't say that if everybody did. No, man, that's not how. She doesn't have an IQ for the game. If she did, she wouldn't take the stupid shots she takes, and she wouldn't take her rebounds way out here. She will get a rebound and fly way out, which is fine. You got the rebound, but then you're isolating yourself and everybody's resetting on defense. It's pointless. Let me get to a stat that's really important right now for you to know. So, Angel Reese. So she's yelling at everybody. She's acting like a brat, whatever. It's just, I'm over it. It's just a shit show. It's a mirage. She's a mascot. It's cool. In fact, complaining about it is just going to make it worse. So what I mean is complaining about how much she brings the game of basketball down. She just brings it down for everybody. By the sports media acting like she's good it's a fugazi. It's a fraud. It's disgusting. The fact that she was even in a conversation for Rookie of the Year last year, disgusting. It's dumb. So her stat line, 27 minutes, and and I'm looking at everybody else here on their minutes. She played out of her team. She played the most. She played the most minutes. No, I'm sorry. She played one under Atkins. Ariel Atkins, number 7, played 28 minutes. Angel Reese played 27 minutes. Okay. She was 2 for 7. We're talking easy shots. We're not talking 3-pointers from the logo. We're talking rim shots. We're talking layups. And one of these shots, see, you Angel Reese people will wake up one day when you really look at the stats. And I'm not a hater. I'm just a realist. One of those 2 for 7 was a fast break where the ball was a steal and she had nobody behind her. And that was her first bucket. And everybody was like nervous about it. Then when she got her second bucket, which was, I think, a layup, the whole place went crazy because she never hits them. It's crazy. So she takes 7 shots, hits 2. 4 points. No 3-pointers, thank God. And she didn't get to the line. And the fact that the announcers don't make a thing of that stuns me. Really. Any other player that's featured, if they had, look, what did they do to Caitlin? Oh, she's 0 for 4. Oh, when Caitlin Clark doesn't have the perfect game, they break her down every time there's a whistle break or some kind of moment. They talk about how good she's doing or how bad she's doing. They ride her stats to the very end. Angel Reese, nobody talks about it. They don't talk about it on purpose. Why? Because it's marketing. She's the biggest fugazi that we've probably seen in pro sports in, I don't know, honestly, years. Like, I can't think of somebody in sports that is so marketed and hyped that is just a fraud. No fundamentals. And, okay, I'll just give you this. Not even a starter. And she's starting for a major franchise in the WNBA. She's on nationwide TV games. She gets all sorts of publicity. They talk about her all the time. It's always Angel Reese in the sports media, and she's pointless. Like, not even a factor. She's a factor at hurting her team. So, 27 minutes, 2 for 7, 0 for 3, 0 for free throws. Didn't even get a foul. missed 5 shots. She has 5 offensive rebounds, which means how many shots she missed? 5. How many rebounds offensively? 5. Not every one of them were her own, but probably 4. How many defensive? She gets 7. Fine. Her total is 12 rebounds. 3 turnovers. Now I'm going to freak you out. Because here's what the media now is doing. She can't make a layup, but it's okay because she's a rebounding machine, and they need that, and that's great. She's like Dennis Rodman. Well, let me share this with you. I got all these papers. Let me share this. Let's go to the box score. Where did I put the box score? Here it is. Let's go to the box score. Team box score. Okay, so team rebounds. The Sky had 30 team rebounds for the entire game. The Fever had 32. It doesn't matter. They still got out rebounded as a team with this supposed genius Dennis Rodman like rebounder. It's a joke. Just looking at the record is a joke. The fact they get blown out at home is a joke. In the game you should be up here for, you're at home, no Caitlin Clark, and they bring no intensity. Well, it's because the team hates her. 1, they hate her. The coach can't figure it out. 2, they're just riding this year out. 3, they need salary cap space. And 4, they're working a trade behind the scenes, guaranteed. They're figuring out a way to trade this chick because it's a mess. I feel bad for this guy. I do. Because there's no other player there's some players that are, honestly, I can't think of any other player that's like put at this level with, like they put her up with, there's no rivalry with the Fever and the Sky. There's no rivalry with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. You saw Caitlin Clark just gave her a take foul and threw her down, like, whatever, chick, get out of my space. Like that's all you need to know about the level of Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. It's a joke. It's a joke. So they're just biding their time to get rid of this chick. She's a bench player. Somebody that gets you 12 boards, they come off the bench, guys. Like, here you go. Let me help you with this. A lot of you are new watching this game. This is how it works. She's a bench player. So, okay, let me rush through this. I'm over my time that I planned on doing this. So I was left off in the second quarter. So Angel Reese starts acting like a spoiled brat, screaming, being an idiot. And then there's a moment in the fourth when they were down by 25 or something. And she got like a poke out. And it was a turnover. And she went, I think it was Howard. And she just went, screamed in Howard's face like all, oh, like I'm like, it's cringy, man. Like no comprehension of just how bad you are. And she has to have emotional outbursts to play well. Or in her mind, well. She just doesn't play well. She has to have emotional outbursts like what she did with Caitlin. Then she yelled in Howard's face. She's screaming at everybody trying to write. And I can tell everybody's like, what? What are you yelling? Like, first of all, you never yell. It just blows my mind at the top of the key how she did that. You never, see, I'm just breaking shit. You never yell at everybody what play you're running. Like, where you just don't do that. Like, that's just confusion to the max. On top of it, Howard took Devil Reese out the entire game. Howard just pushing her. Those rebounds she got, most of them they let her get. There's no reason to worry. You rebound all day long. That's not how you win games, is putting the ball in the basket. Fundamental, something that Angel Reese doesn't do. So Howard took her out the entire game. So second quarter was dope. So at 24-16, I'm like, then Lexi had a 3-point play, which was dope. In the middle of I think we're in the third here. Yeah, third. Second here. Howard, by the second quarter, Reese is taken out of the game. Angel Reese couldn't post up. It was crazy. That was when she tried to do a post up, and she was posting up. She posted up and had a brick. It was weak. And then they reset the ball and gave it to her again, and she tried to post up way outside the key, and then the coach was like, time out. It was so bad because he knew she was going to get blocked or miss it, and everybody was positioned to take it right back. He was like, we got to stop the bleeding here. That was a message to her. We don't trust you. She doesn't get it. Sky comes out of the timeout, and they put the ball in everybody else's hands and then score. Angel was not a part of it. So when Angel Reese is not part of the ball movement, they score. Interesting, right? I'm watching these games really closely. I'm seeing these patterns. And then Bonner comes in, not really focused. But then she gets subbed out. That was good for me. A lot of one-on-one at 5:21 in the second quarter because it was a wrap. So let's just jump to the third. So at halftime, I was like, okay, this is over. The only thing that we have to worry about is them making a comeback. Angel Reese is a crybaby, already throwing a fit. She demands too much attention. I was more focused on the Sky melting down, really. But then I'm like, okay, well, there's a history of blowing out this team. Let's just ride this cat, right? So they come out, they're flat in the third quarter. I can understand that. They're making mistakes. And then Angel Reese was screaming. That's when she was screaming in Howard's face after like a weird poke. It was the third quarter. And I'm just like, how do you get away with that stuff? Like, it's just embarrassing. Look, if you're Caitlin Clark and you're draining threes, you can scream at somebody. Like, if you've earned it, you can do it. She just hasn't earned that trash talk. Fever is up by 12 in the third quarter. Angel Reese is so bad, she's keeping them in this game, really. She throws and then after the scream and they get the ball back, she throws it away. Just weak. She can't do a pass. Like, she was trying to do a give and go. She can't pass the ball. I'm blown away. Like, she passed it and it just rolled out of bounds, and it was like not even worth chasing. Easy turnover. Lexi starts really hits a three. Her offense is picking up by 15. 7:26 left, up by 15, baby. The route was on. It was a wrap, a mundo. Angel comes out and screws it up again. Shot clock violation. I'm like, this is wild, man. Then she starts melting down because Howard took her out of the game. And then Howard hits a three, and I'm like, they're just smoking them like a bad cigar, man. Then Boston comes out and starts rocking, which was nice. Boston was rocking. Then they were very comfortable. Then it was pretty much a scrimmage. And then Angel Reese still running her mouth, but then there's an offensive foul. Offensive foul by the Sky, turns it over at, let's see here, 29. I'm sorry, it was, I'm not sure where that was at. It was towards the middle of the fourth. And then, I'm sorry, it was the middle of the third. And then that was so that's pretty much all that was noteworthy. It was like a scrimmage. And then going into the fourth quarter, I'm like, oh yeah. And then Kelsey Mitchell gets the bell ringer. I'm like, okay, let's chill out. Coming out of the third quarter, I'm like, I want to see her on the bench. And she was in her warm up. Cool. 17 points, had a great game, blowout. We're cool. We had the bench come in. McDonald and Colson was just feasting. Angel again turns it over in the fourth quarter and just melts down. It's just over for her. And then the rest was a scrimmage, and it's a 27-point win. There you go. So you Fever, they do it again, guys. They do it again. I'm just really excited. You should be too. When will Goat Prime be back? When will Caitlin be back? That's a huge question. We'll see. I'm going to say it's 50-50. It's just up in the air. I know. You're like, that's easy. I just don't know. Nobody knows. She looks good. She looks happy. She looks rested. You don't know, though. You really don't. And they're probably, if they're feeling we can take another risky shot at it, this team looks pretty strong, let's roll the dice, they may sit her another game. Not a problem for me because it's better for her and the Fever in a strong position. If they lose at home, lose on the road to the Dream, it's not the end of the world, but it's not good for momentum. So I say at this point, if the Goat's ready, let her roll. It's basketball. There's a point where you can't put somebody on the shelf too long. I mean, every game counts too, but I don't want her to hurt herself. It's all good. We'll listen to the docs. We're not doctors. We just play that on TV. Next game is the Dream, guys, so I'll be on after. If I have trouble getting on right after for the post game show, if I have something going on, I'll post on Twitter. And there you go. Things to look out for. McDonald. We'll see if McDonald's still on the roster on Monday. Caitlin's not playing or Sophie's not playing. If both of them report that they're healthy, McDonald will be waived on or released on Monday, and then we'll know we're full strength. But it's not a bad thing. It's the way it should go. Thanks for watching, guys. Please sub and follow if you're watching on YouTube, on Rumble. I appreciate that. On Twitch, follow. We're also on Facebook. I had trouble with the Facebook stream, but this will show up on Facebook after. Follow me on the old Facebook machine. I do have a Facebook group for the show. Almost 1,800 followers. Shocker, I know, right? You can also follow me on the old TikTok. Real Jason J. Daniel. I do WNBA TikToks. NFL's heating up. I do a lot of sports. You're gonna if you like the basketball, you're gonna have to like the football with me. So join me on the old TikTok machine for more FIFA talk. And again, please sub everywhere. Follow me on X. I really appreciate that. YouTube, my subs are blowing up. Crazy. Last month I picked up 200 followers. I know, right? What the heck? What are you people seeing me? Thank you. Thank you. If you're watching on YouTube and you sub, thank you. Yeah. I doubled my followers in almost 60 days. And last month, over 200 subscriptions on my YouTube page. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm working hard. So that being said, I'm going to let you go. Have a great night and go Fever. And join me on Tuesday night to see how the team does again. Thanks for watching. Fever win. They have a nice win. Good job for this team. And can't wait for the next game. Take care, guys.